hottest on the Gulf Coast with breaking news and weather. Fox 10 Midday starts now.
Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. We've officially made it to the weekend. There's a lot going on this weekend, including the mullet toss at the Floribama. We'll see how there in just a second, but what can we expect for the weekend?
Well, the thing to keep in mind for this weekend is that those temperatures, they're going up. The humidity is also still pretty high out there, so in case you're planning anything this weekend, maybe do it earlier in the morning.
Great reminder.
Yeah, especially if you're going to be gardening out there, doing anything active earlier in the day will be the better, because by the afternoon we're going to be warming up, and these are temperatures that we haven't quite seen yet so far for this season. So that's why right now we are calling them hot. I know once we get into late July, this temperatures will be nothing by that point, but just in comparison to what we've seen so far for the spring-like months. Now, as you take a look at conditions across the southeast, what we're starting to see is just some of those showers pushing through northern Mississippi, making their way into Alabama at this time, and it looks pretty menacing that this line of showers and storms could potentially make it closer towards us. But the good news is that the rain chances today is really low. It's only about 20%, and we have higher chances of not seeing anything, as Futurecast models are staying pretty consistent with all of those showers and storms weakening by the time they get closer towards us. But conditions are calm and quiet out there across the Fox 10 viewing area. Really not seeing much out there so far to begin for this morning. The majority of that taking place closer towards central to southern Mississippi. But right now, what we're seeing from our Navigator Credit Union camera at the Battleship, just more of that increased cloud cover. Still plenty of blue skies out there. You can start to see at the very top of the banner, but temperatures are resting in the upper 70s, feeling more like 82, however, so feeling pretty warm out there, just a little muggy with dew points right around 70 degrees. Temperatures right now just ranging in the upper 70s, noticing more of those lower 80s, 82 already in Crestview along with Mobile and Leakesville. But over the next few hours, those temperatures will only continue to tick up. We will be maxing out in the mid 80s later on for today, but by the weekend, record tying or breaking temperatures will be possible. I'll break down more of those details coming up in just a little bit. Ashlyn.
All right, thank you, Jen. Well, happening right now, the fish are starting to fly at the Alabama-Florida state line. The mullet toss just getting underway at the Floribama. Baldwin County reporter Hal Sherrick is there on the beach right now. And Hal, I have to ask, are you getting in on all that action today? All right, thank you, Hal. I expect to see a good throw from you later, so I'm going to hold you to it. Well, in the meantime, if you've been dreaming of a scenic ride to the Big Easy this summer, the train could be the way to go. Passenger train service is rolling back to the Gulf Coast for the first time in more than 2 decades. The new line is called the Amtrak Mardi Gras service. Mobile Mayor Sandy Stimpson says the name just couldn't be more fitting. Well, the president is on his way to Europe today for the Pope's funeral. The trip may also give him a chance to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Another opportunity to push a peace plan that isn't getting much traction. It all comes after a deadly Russian missile and drone strikes that have killed U.S.-led peacekeeping officials. Trump warned Russian President Vladimir Putin after the attack in a residential area killed at least a dozen people. Trump could also press the Ukrainian president to accept a peace plan that calls for ceding a fair amount of territory to Russia, including Crimea. And the latest consumer sentiment report is out this morning and shows Americans are still feeling cautious about the economy. This comes after several recent polls show voters are not satisfied with President Trump's performance so far on the economy, inflation, and tariffs. But the president says new trade deals are in the works, including with China. Caroline Shively has more from Washington. And listen to this. A new study in the journal JAMA shows measles could become endemic if in the U.S. if vaccination rates don't improve. That's despite its declared elimination back in 2000. Over a 25-year period, researchers predict almost 900,000 measles cases if rates stay the same. They forecast about 11 million if vaccinations decline 10% and more than 51 million if they drop by half. Vaccination rates, by the way, are down in the U.S. since the COVID-19 pandemic. The CDC reports outbreaks in West Texas and surrounding states, with some cases in other areas. And they recommend children get their first dose of the measles vaccine when they're 12 to 15 months old. It also says they should get the second one between ages 4 and 6. That gives an estimated 97% immunity from the disease. Well, the day before his funeral, people are around the world remembering Pope Francis, tributes popping up across the world. We'll have a look at a special piece of art in Rome, but first, let's quickly check in with Jen.
And taking another look outside right now, this is going to be down on Dauphin Island. So you can still just start to see some of those breezy winds out there at the Dauphin Island Sea Lab. A few folks getting out there and enjoying it, soaking up some of that sunshine. Still some big clouds out there, looking a little gray and gloomy at times, but temperatures continuing in the mid-70s later on for this afternoon. But I'll be talking more about your extended forecast coming up when we come back.
Welcome back. President Trump had nothing but praise for Pope Francis as he headed to the Vatican on Friday for his funeral. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has more from Rome. Welcome back in this morning. A new vintage shop has arrived in downtown Mobile. This is right up my alley, you guys. Vanessa is giving us a full preview of its curated collection of retro-inspired fashion and timeless treasures. I love that jacket, Vanessa. I think you should definitely get it. Now, here's one of Vanessa's findings. Today, I'm actually going to show it to y'all. It's a little hard to see. It looks like a coin purse or an old camera, but they're actually binoculars, which is pretty cool. So they can open and close. And yeah, I can see y'all really well now, but they're super cute. So I'm going to bring these back to her. But if you're interested again in that shop, we'll have more information on our website, fox10tv.com. Well, coming up with talks of a national registry for people with autism ramping up, fears about what it means for personal and medical privacy. More on that in just a minute. But first, Jen.
But taking another look at your forecast too, and in case you do have any of those sports practices or games heading into tonight, the good news is that things are going to be looking good. We will start to see some of those mostly cloudy skies. Not too terribly concerned about the 20% that you see there. Highest chances will be earlier on in the evening, and especially higher for our Mississippi and also Washington and Clark counties. But temperatures still lower 80s by the time we get closer towards 5 o'clock. A little toasty by that point, feeling better after sunset. I'll talk more about your forecast coming up when we come back.
Well, our Arbor Day is commemorated in the U.S. on Friday. The holiday actually dates back to the 1500s, and it started in Spain. Nebraska was the first state in the Union to celebrate Arbor Day back in the 1870s. Now the call to plant more trees and take care of existing ones is only growing louder. Health and forestry experts are highlighting the positive natural and mental impacts trees can provide. Shanley Painter has more. Well, a Mississippi woman who was given up for adoption at birth recently discovered she has 4 sisters. It's a wild journey down the road to sisterhood, 67 years in the making. Ellie Davis shares with us the woman's tearful meeting that brought those sisters together. The action sequel, The Accountant 2, and the horror movie Until Dawn are part of this week's new releases. Here's a look at what's in theaters and streaming with Fox's Ashley Dvorkin. By the way, big news for streaming fans this morning. Netflix rolling out a new way to watch its shows. The streaming platform is launching a new subtitle option for viewers who just want spoken dialogue captions. Before, it only had subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, which showed dialogue as well as speaker names and descriptions of sounds. Netflix says nearly half of all viewing hours in the U.S. take place with subtitles, or captions. Now, the feature is currently available in English and only featured on Netflix original titles for now, but officials say it will eventually be used on existing titles over time. Now, speaking of, I don't know, Jen, do you subtitles a lot in your movies? I feel like I just started in the past year. Now I can't watch a movie without them. Maybe it's because I work in the news and I read words for a living. I don't know.
I think like the hardest thing is actually going to the movie theater and I lean over like, what did they say?
Right.
Maybe I didn't get it.
Right. Shorter attention span. I don't know. I need them.
I need subtitles. They are the way to go for my movie viewing. Well, let's go ahead and talk more about your forecast. Just a reminder, right now is a great time to go ahead, download the Fox 10 weather app. That way you can stay updated with all of the changes out there. Right now, these are all of those showers that are taking place just closer towards central Mississippi. So Jackson really just starting to see some of that heavy rainfall. That's extending up towards Tupelo and into northern Alabama, closer towards Florence. But here locally, it's calm and quiet, possibly just some of those isolated showers closer towards really the northwest corner of Clark County there. But let's go ahead and dive deeper into what I am exactly tracking here and outside. And here's a live look down at our local beaches. Now, the National Weather Service, they did go ahead and bump up those rip current risks. They went from low to moderate for today. Still a little rough out there with some of those waves just breaking further offshore. So a lot of folks getting out there and enjoying it. But hey, it's also the mullet toss this weekend. So if you need something to do, this is going to be the thing to check out. Now, we are seeing those moderate rip current risks throughout the rest of the weekend. Temperatures warming up. Warmest day will come into play on Sunday with that surf height closer towards 2 feet. But it is going to be beautiful out there. Go out, toss the fish, fold it in half. That's going to be my advice. And also, hey, stop and check out the Fox 10 tent too and win some fun things out there. I'll have a final look at your forecast coming up in just a little bit. But for right now, a live view outside on Dauphin Island. 3 to know before you go is back after this.
A creative Englishman used his crafty skills and his legs to advocate for an alien bird species by trekking for 3 straight days in a homemade bird costume measuring 10 feet long. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Company Curiosity has nothing but rocks and sand and the mission at hand. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
And here's your 3 to know before you go today. The fish are flying at the Alabama-Florida state line. That's where the 2025 mullet toss is happening at the Floribama. And it truly is a beach party like no other. And it lasts all weekend long. So as always, thousands will try their hand at throwing that famous fish across the state line. It costs $20 to toss a mullet. All the money raised goes to local youth charities in Alabama and Florida. Now, secondly, the National Weather Service says it will resume translating its weather alerts for people who don't speak English in case you missed it. The translation feature was paused earlier this month due to contract issues. Many were concerned that change could have meant the difference between life and death for non-English speakers. The NWS says the translations of weather information will resume on Monday. Now, finally, world leaders are gathering to attend the funeral of Pope Francis. It will be held tomorrow in St. Peter's Square. We will be airing and streaming this event starting at 2:30 tomorrow morning, and you can watch it right here on Fox 10. But before we go today, Jen, let's have one little last look at our weather forecast.
Yes, so as we do take a look at the rest of today, what we are going to start to see is that 20% chance of showers, maybe a storm. Higher chances Mississippi counties, Washington, Clark County, closer towards really around 4 to 6 p.m. Hopeful that those will continue to break it apart before they get here. Spotty showers and storms Saturday and Sunday. It's that heat, it's that humidity working together, pop up heading into the afternoon and the evening. Hottest day coming into play on Sunday. Get some stuff done in the morning. And then May already next week.
Crazy. Well, I actually have an early birthday trip to the beach this weekend. So
Happy
I'm
early
excited.
birthday.
Thank you. So I'm looking forward to all the sunshine. Might come back burnt, hopefully tan.
Hopefully not. Lots of sunscreen.
Thanks for watching us here on Fox 10 Midday. See you at 3 o'clock.